This is Hello Africa on AAU TV. This is Hello Africa on AAU TV.
It is another wonderful day, and thank you for joining us on the Hello Africa Morning Show. This program is brought to you by the Association of African Universities and proudly sponsored by Verna Purified Water and Biko Drinks. My name is Isabella Teta Hinakwa, and as usual, I'm here with my co-host.
Now, Midako, thank you so much for joining us. So today I'm going to be giving you a brief about what to expect. In our top African news story, we are going to be talking about the SIAD project, which was present or represented during the Academic City University College Open Science Hardware Initiative. There's also cholera outbreak in Nigeria. We're going to be giving you details about that. Yeah. And then Gambia, of course, is still upholding the ban on female genital mutilation amid the legislative debates. In our interview engagements, we are going to be discussing Rwanda's President Kagame's victory during the presidential elections, which was held just last week. In entertainment, we are going to be talking about Mali's King of Kora, Tsunami Diabetes, dying at the age of 55, and of course we have so much more in store for you, so do not go anywhere. You can follow us via our social media platforms at Association of African Universities on Facebook and YouTube, AUTV Official on Instagram, and AUTV_universities on X.
Right, and so stick with us. We'll be right back after the break.
I'm here with the Association of African Universities Television, AUTV. I just want to say that without the media, you won't know what's going on in the world. Even with the media, you sometimes don't know what's going on in the world. So you need to tune in to the reliable sources who are really on the front lines, who can give you the information you need and give you facts, not conjecture, give you real news, not fake news. And this is the place to find it, AUTV.
The voice of higher education in Africa.
This program is proudly sponsored by Verna Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
Thank you. Now to our top African news story. At the African Open Science Hardware Summit in Accra, Ghana, strengthening the Europe-Africa digital ecosystem through increased research and innovation cooperation, SIAD projects took center stage, outlining initiatives to boost research and innovation collaboration between Africa and Europe. Representing SIAD at the summit was Hyperspace Innovation Hub and the Association of African Universities. Isabella,
hi.
You were there for the SIAD project.
Yes,
yes. Represented at the Africa Open Science Hardware Summit at the Academic City University College. How did it go?
Well, you know, going there, I introduced the team to the participants, and like I mentioned there, I shared my experience. You know, when we were going, I thought we were going to meet, you know, CEOs, we were going to meet presidents, yes, and, you know, big people. But then, when I went there, I saw majority of them were youth, like the young people. And they wanted to showcase their innovations and, you know, look for opportunities and collaborations. And I was happy because the SIAD project, actually, we are focusing on women and youth aside the research and innovation ecosystem actors. We are targeting the women and youth. So when I saw them, I was really happy about it. And fortunately, we had AATV representing as well to take over the program. So I think there's a video for us to watch.
So let's take a video. Let's take a video of how everything went down.
The SIAD project, running from January 2024 to December 2025, focuses on human-centered research to address needs and gaps in support, aiming to develop robust programs to enhance the research and innovation ecosystems in Europe and Sub-Saharan Africa. The initiative includes 4 main pillars: mapping the R&ID ecosystem in both regions, creating a centralized digital environment for R&ID support, providing route-to-market upskilling and joint cooperation actions, and contextualizing and expanding services in SSA EU regional areas. SIAD Route-to-Market Services promises a comprehensive approach featuring a bootcamp training program to bridge the gap between research and market success, webinars offering key market knowledge, learning expeditions in Ghana, Kenya, Senegal, and South Africa, and a soft landing program supporting mobility into pilot ecosystems. Additional services include a twinning program for knowledge development, a digital innovation youth training program, and R&I to industry matchmaking activities through BPI France Equity Platform. The project also emphasizes monitoring and impact assessments in the 4 pilot regions, collecting success stories to highlight AU-EU R&I cooperation and sharing lessons learned and recommendations. Representatives from the Association of African Universities and Hyperspace, including Mr. Gideon Brefo, showcase SIA's initiatives underscoring their potential impact on the future of research and innovation in Africa. This year's Africa OSH Summit is dedicated to promoting the open use of science hardware in Africa, with a focus on accessibility and sustainability. The summit covers crucial topics such as waste reduction, circular economic practices, and development of hardware tailored to local needs.
What went down at the Academic City University College in Accra. Isabella, you were talking about the SIAD project before.
Yes, so I was expressing how happy I was seeing the young people there. It shows how committed they were in building or contributing to the development of the continent. Now, you saw me speaking. I was trying to let them know why we have 10 partners, especially AAU, why we are included in the project. And when we look at the research and innovation ecosystem, when we look at the actors, we have researchers, we have innovators, we have investors, we have policy makers, among others. And when it comes to the researchers, majority of them come from the research universities. And AAU, you know, we are the mother for all African universities. So we are included in the project to at least take the opportunity to bring it to these institutions, and then they can benefit from it. We have knowledge sharing. You can share your best practices. When it comes to the digital transformation, you can share your, the European can share their digital things that are doing, that is contributing or helping them, they can share with us. That's the same with what we're also doing here. We can share with them. And there are lots of activities in place to achieve our goal.
So is the call limited to only African institutions or?
No. You mean the call for success story?
Yes.
Oh, no, it is not for only African institutions or African research and innovators. We are looking, the collaboration is between Europeans and Africans, so you can be in other continent and still share your best practice. And we are looking forward. Currently, the project is being piloted in 4 countries: Ghana, Senegal, South Africa, and Kenya. But then we hope by the end of the project, we can the lessons learned and recommendations from it can be replicated in other countries.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Right. And moving on to Nigeria, the country is currently grappling with a severe cholera outbreak with over 3,600 suspected cases and 103 deaths reported as of July 15. Now, authorities are intensifying efforts to contain the spread of the waterborne disease, emphasizing the critical role of hygiene in preventing further fatalities.
Dr. Adewale Adeleye, a leading medical authority on infectious diseases, underscores the critical importance of proactive measures amidst Nigeria's cholera outbreak. With over 3,600 suspected cases and 103 deaths reported, the country faces a significant public health challenge. Cholera, caused by Vibrio cholerae bacteria, spreads rapidly through contaminated food and water, disproportionately affecting communities with limited access to sanitation and clean drinking water, particularly in rural areas. Dr. Deleye emphasizes that preventing cholera hinges on rigorous hygiene practices, proper hand washing, safe food handling, and ensuring access to clean water are essential measures to stem the disease transmission. He underscores that while vaccines exist, they are primarily targeted at high-risk groups due to their limited duration of effectiveness without booster doses. In Lagos, where some progress has been reported in containment efforts, health officials continue to urge vigilance and adherence to health advisories to minimize the impact of the outbreak.
So that was from Nigeria, talking about the cholera outbreak. Naomi, what's your take at this moment?
Yes,
cholera outbreak.
Outbreak. I don't know, and it's actually surprising that we have over 3,600 cases already. Because then I don't know. It means when it started, they was no like they couldn't trace where exactly it started from or what. Because then I know that in communication planning you are able to identify that this is the cause of this disease. You can now trace it to where it actually started, and then you'll be able to resolve the issue from there. But if we already have 3,600 cases already reported, and even 103 deaths. 103 deaths as of July 15. That's quite alarming.
It is. We all know what causes cholera.
Yes.
We all know being on hygiene, not taking safe water, and the main causes is the Vibrio cholerae bacteria, and we know it comes from contaminated food.
Yes.
This has been, discovered for a very long time, and you have to be, you have to make sure you keep a hygienic environment, a clean environment. You always wash your, that is the safest measures you have to take to avoid being or having this disease. And this should be outmoded. We should move past cholera.
But then we also need to know whether or not the place where this cholera outbreak is a place that is exposed to technology, because I know that there's been a lot of education about how to prevent the cholera itself. So like you're saying, safe hygiene, ensuring that where you reside, the food you eat, everything is clean. So if these measures, if they live in a place where technology is exposed to them, healthcare professionals are in the community, I think that it means that these people need to also strengthen the way that they conduct or do their activities in the community, because then the communication is not getting to the people. If you're educating the people, sensitizing them about a specific issue, and they still are practicing what they are used to, then it means there's not being that behavioral or social change. So there should be a way to come up with a strategic communication initiative to be able to keep this, because
and even talking about the communication, and that proves that the majority of the cases will come from the rural area, because they do not have time to even watch TV, listen to the radio. What they do is they go to the farm.
But then again, I don't think anybody should sensitize anyone. In my opinion, I don't think anybody should sensitize any other person about hygiene. Making sure that you're clean. Yes, it should be, because if you are eating contaminated food, what are you? I'm not sure.
I remember when I used to go to the village, and they will tell you, when we drink from the stream, they will tell you, this type of leaf has fallen into it. We have neem leaves, we have cocoa leaves, and so it's going to it's in a way a medicine, so nothing is going to happen to you. But then we don't know what is in the water. It's best we boil the water before we even drink or even cook with it. But they just take it and they'll tell you it's from God, and nothing is going to nothing is going to happen to
Well,
you. I mean, it's sad. We need to move past
we hope
cholera
to
outbreak,
actually, yeah,
to
we
be
hope,
precise.
yeah,
Outbreak.
yeah. And we hope to hear good news from this, maybe being able to like trace where exactly it started from and be able to end wherever it is at the moment. Now, away from Nigeria and straight to Gambia, the Gambia's parliament has upheld a crucial law banning female genital mutilation, FGM, rejecting a contentious bid that sought to legalize the practice. In a decisive move, Gambia's parliament has rejected a bid to repeal the FGM ban. This decision comes after religious groups and some lawmakers pushed for the legislation to be overturned, arguing that female circumcision is a virtue of Islam.
If the attempt to repeal the ban had been successful, Gambia would have become the first country in the world to re-legalize female genital mutilation after having criminalized it. MP Amadou Kamara, who chairs a joint health and gender committee, told CNN that none of the clauses seeking the repeal of the ban in the Women's Amendment Bill 2024 was passed. Parliament Speaker Fabakary Jatta ruled it impossible for the bill, which had passed a second reading 4 months ago, to proceed to a third reading and pass without those clauses. The ban on FGM was established in 2015 by former President Yahya Jammeh, who authorized fines and prison sentences of up to 3 years for those practicing FGM, with life sentences in cases where the practice led to death. Despite the ban, FGM has still been performed on children in parts of the country. Last year, 3 women were convicted for performing FGM on 8 female minors and fined approximately 15,000 Gambian dollars, equivalent to $220 each. An Islamic cleric reportedly paid these penalties. Human rights organization Amnesty International had described efforts to revoke the FGM ban as a backward move for human rights in Gambia. According to the United Nations, 73% of Gambian women aged 15 to 49 had experienced FGM as of 2020, with more than 65% subjected to the practice before the age of 5. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres expressed his outrage at attempts to legalize FGM, calling the practice horrific.
That was the story on Gambia upholding the ban on female genital mutilation amid the legislative debates. Isabella, what is your take on female genital mutilation? Do you think it is something of religion or is something of culture?
Both.
Okay.
Yes, I mean then it was part of our cultural practices. Aside the Islamic people doing that, you see other tribes also doing it, but then majority from the northern part. So I would say it's both. It's a cultural practice at the same time a religious practice.
And it's actually interesting to me because just last semester I did a research on this actually as part of my project work, and I had to interview some personalities from Gambia. There was one lady who was a Muslim, and there was also another who was a gender activist. And the Muslim lady, even the Muslim lady that I engaged in, she does not support it.
Yeah.
And basically, to give more details, so there was a ban. Initially, there was that practice because they said it preserves the woman, and it shows that she's clean. Sometimes, if your parents don't take you to do the FGM, it means that you grow up unclean, and it means that you will be involved in a lot of immoral stuff.
Yeah.
But when the ban came, just a few years ago, some people, some Muslims in the community, it was actually one imam, a very respected imam in Gambia, who actually decided or came up or stood against the ban. He came back to say that it is something that is part of the Islamic practice, and so if they take it away from them, it will go a long way to hurt the younger generation, because it is a way to preserve their their sexuality, is a way to preserve their their decency, their cleanliness to their husbands and all of that. And their virginity as well. So I don't know.
Well, see, I really don't know how to put it, but there are a lot of ways you can stop people, or even you can't stop. It's human rights.
Yes.
If I want to, I'm not saying it is right, but then if I say I want to have sex at the age of 15, 16, it's my personal choice, right? Though I'm not an adult to do that yet.
Yes.
But then there are several ways to educate teenagers,
Talking
to
about the
educate
repercussions,
children,
yeah.
exactly, to prevent them from doing this immoral act at that age till they are old enough to make decisions for themselves.
Right.
There are several ways, but to say FGM is the only or is the best way, no. Let's look at the side effects.
Yes.
First of all, if you see the should I say equipment or the tools,
the device or the tool,
my God. If you see the tools they use, first of all, the child is going to get infections
it's not
from
always
it.
sterilized, so
No. Who has the time to sterilize those things before? No. They're going to get infections from it. And future impact.
yes.
Now,
Childbirth.
let's look at, let's compare the FGM and then men, what we do for the boys, circumcisally. I read through the story, and they are trying to say it is not mutilation, but it's circumcision. But then, when we look at it, for the guys, they just take the foreskin,
Yes.
because we know, according to science,
Yes.
it's going to contract
Yes.
death. So we have to take it off. Just like peeling banana. But when we look at the FGM, they are taking a whole,
Yes.
the female part has its own style and shape, and they are taking some part of I can't even sit. I can't imagine. Do you get it? And aside the pain, out of 10, I would say that 3 or 4 can die from this process.
Yes.
Compared to this the guy's own. Yeah, just taking the 4 years, you feel the pain, you cry, but within weeks, because your baby, you heal. But then this leads to death. And if it leads to death, people dying at that young age, they don't know what is happening.
Yeah.
We need to stop.
Yeah.
Yes, we can't let go of our culture. It describes who we are. Yeah. It gives us this confidence and all that. But we've moved past, especially the ones that I don't know.
Yes.
We don't benefit.
Some
I don't
of our cultural practices that are outdated needs to be outdated.
Yes.
And I was actually surprised that a respected being, a respected figure in Gambia was the one that was pushing for the repeal of the ban. And I'm proud of Gambia's parliament for upholding the ban on female genital mutilation. Because if we are talking about the benefits to your religion, in as much as it benefits your religion in a way, the disadvantages outweighs the advantages. So I think it's best that it's still put on hold. And Gambia would have been the first country to have
brought it back.
So I think that is a good thing that the parliament has done.
It is.
So kudos to
myself,
them for the hard work.
I really wish. I saw the fines or the punishments if you are caught doing that. I learned people to do it, and they have a punishment.
I was just about saying
it's not enough,
because when I engaged the person, some of the people from Gambia during my research, one of them mentioned that sometimes even your own friends would come to you telling you that you need to do it because they have done it and they feel very clean. Their husbands respect them, but if you've not done it, sometimes they can even go behind your back to report you. And then before you realize, your parents can even tell you that they are taking you somewhere, maybe you are traveling, only for them to take you to a place.
At that age?
Yes. So even your friend can actually report you to the authorities,
and I'll sue you.
Have not been.
I'll report you to the police. Yes, I'll report you to the police because I mean, and you know, aside the I don't know how to say, you not deforming the female part, you know, that particular thing has a role to play.
Yes,
And it's
exactly.
natural. We need to let it be, and not, please, if the person would not want to involve herself in sexual immoralities and stuff, the person will. It is not your practice that will prevent. No. That is human rights abuse.
That is their notion of helping to uphold.
We can educate. And when condom came, I mean, yes, condoms came. Yes, it was introduced to prevent, I think, AIDS
HIV,
exactly. And currently, I know there are other ways of contracting,
condoms, but some people still do not.
Well, but then the rate went down.
Yeah.
Though AIDS is not contracted only via sex, but then the rate at which contracting AIDS through sex really went down. So there are a lot of ways you can educate people from being clean.
Yeah.
Right, and moving to the digital space, a major internet outage has caused widespread disruption across the globe, affecting flights, banks, media outlets, and numerous companies. The incident, linked to the defect in a Windows content update, has left millions grappling with service disruptions and delays. The chief executive of cybersecurity company CrowdStrike, which is at the heart of the outage, stated that the issue is gradually being fixed. However, hours later, problems continue to persist. All right. So Naomi, I don't know if you heard or saw anything about the internet outage. I mean, we've experienced this before. I think Ghana and some parts of the African countries where within I think half of the day we were off internet. We couldn't do anything, and businesses were
issue for like a week.
Yeah.
All the network service providers were off. You could not have access to you could not make calls, you could not use your WhatsApp, you could not use any of your social media platforms. And actually, it shows you how connected the world is now. Because it moved with just IT, with just digitalization. It's been able to connect flights, it's been able to connect banks, it's been able to connect businesses. And immediately there was that shutdown. Everything
silence.
So I've always held the stance that IT is the heart of the world.
Powerful.
It is the heart of the world, because once there's IT, once there's that powerhouse, every other thing would work. But if it's taken away, every other thing would have to go back to the traditional to the traditional way of doing things. And when I saw it, I was like, so imagine you were attending a very important conference somewhere, just because of this outage, internet outage, you wouldn't have been able to fly across to wherever you wanted to fly to. So it shows you how interconnected the world is currently.
And you know, I saw from another post that some airports or airlines were using the manual steps where you see someone writing the time the flight to be departed. And even when you go to for the checkout, now they do it. Imagine the queue and the time you are going to spend
even
for
with
just
the
one trip.
Sometimes it takes a very long time. So you can imagine if about 300 people are going to be on one flight, you need to be attending to them one after the other manually without technology. That would be very stressful. And
actually this also this advises the cause of this is an update. Sometimes you get a notification on your phone to update. Sometimes you will try working with the app and it's not working. This advice that sometimes when you get that notification, we need to wait for a while, maybe a day or two. Make sure that nothing is happening. You've not heard of any hacks or any bugs or anything. Then you can proceed
But
and update.
At the end of the day, some people will still proceed to do the update immediately.
Yes, so we
there will
need
always be
probably we need to advise
fraction
you
of
know, the
people.
communication should go out there. We need to take some time or hold on for a while before updating our devices on these apps, because looking at this, just this, over 8 million users or computer users have issues getting access to the internet or being able to earn it. It is huge. I mean, look at the business that is going to fall down, and I mean, that's money. That's money.
And I also think there should also always be options, because if it's just one option that we have, then what if it's taken away? What would be the alternative? So there should be options. There should be some form of education, empowering other people to also learn the same things that we are learning, so that they can also come up with the same things or even better
alternative ones.
Yes, and so that in the cases where your system does not work, these other systems can come on board to support.
It's a good idea, but someone will say costs. I mean, that means you have to purchase 2 or more systems or internet. Someone is going to say cost. So that is all for the top African news. We'll be right back with the news portal review. Please don't go anywhere.
Hey, so this is Dishant from Unica University Common Application. I recommend you to watch AAU television.
AAU TV is the place to be for every person in higher education in Africa. Better be there or be nowhere.
Continuez de regarder la télé et surtout sur le AAU.
Keep watching it, and it will change the way you interact with higher education on the continent. AAU, great job.
I want to tell you that AAU television is fantastic. It's educative, it's informative, and it is a must for anybody who is interested in higher education in Africa.
When I was in Accra last year, I did an interview on this TV. It's a very important mouthpiece.
It's a data, it's a bank of all we need for the development of higher education in Africa.
People should make an effort to view it, because it discusses very current issues of development across the continent.
I believe that the station will continue to promote the overall development of Africa, particularly in the tertiary education sector.
AAU TV provides a platform and shares a lot of information to a broader audience. So we wish you all the best, and please continue serving
AAU TV,
the voice of higher education in Africa.
This program is proudly sponsored by Vena Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
It's not picking up.
This program is proudly sponsored by Vena Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
Hello Africa Breakfast Morning Show, and we are going to be discussing Rwanda's President Paul Kagame securing an overwhelming re-election victory. Just last week, Rwanda's President Paul Kagame secured a record-breaking victory in the recent elections, garnering over 99% of the votes, surpassing his previous high of 98.63% in 2017. Kagame, who has been in power since 2000, has faced criticisms for his authoritarian style, but also enjoys significant support for his role in Rwanda's stability and economic growth. Just for you to have some clarity, in the political context, critics argued that Kagame's overwhelming majority reflects a restricted political space and limited opposition. The Electoral Commission barred at least 3 presidential candidates, including prominent critics. Only 2 candidates were allowed to contest: Frank Habineza of the Democratic Green Party and independent Felipe Mpaimana, who received 0.53% and 0.32% of the vote, respectively. In terms of international relations, Human Rights Watch, HRW, and other observers suggest that the results indicates limited space for genuine opposition in Rwanda. Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni praised Kagame's victory as a testament to the trust and confidence Rwandans have in his leadership. In terms of economic and social context, despite high youth unemployment, Rwanda continues to be one of Africa's fastest growing economies. Kagame's campaign focused on protecting Rwanda from external threats amid ongoing tensions with the Democratic Republic of Congo and Burundi. We have on our online today, we will be having a discussion with a prominent man from the University of Media, Arts and Communication, Dr. Collins Edubempa Brobe. He is a senior lecturer at the University of Media, Arts and Communication in the Mark Institute of Journalism. Dr. Brobe, if you're online, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, Doc. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you, Naomi, for the opportunity to join you this morning. And let me quickly say good morning to your channel's viewers. Thanks so much for the opportunity this morning, Naomi.
Doc, before we proceed, can you quickly adjust your camera so that we can have our engagements? I think my audience or my listeners or my viewers cannot see you.
Really?
Maybe tilt the laptop towards you a bit.
I'm using. Is it okay now?
Tilt. Can you please tilt the top part of it towards you? Yeah, I think this is perfect. Thank you so much for joining us once again. But so kindly tell us, what are your thoughts on President Kagame's record-breaking election results? How does this result compare to past elections in Rwanda and other similar cases globally?
Yeah, Naomi, thank you for the opportunity. I just want us to give a brief background to this prominent man, Paul Kagame. He is a Rwandan politician and a former military officer who has been the president since 2000, and also a rebel armed force which invaded Rwanda in 1990. I think, given this background, one may ask what has happened to this part of the world. Of course, if you relate that to Ghana, where we have regimes that reflect a military orientation usually is packed with tension. So I see Paul Kagame's landslide victory as a very unique type of it, and I actually describe it as an extraordinary man. Why am I saying this? This election that he had won as up to the 4th 7-year terms in office now, which akin to other African presidents. Like we can talk of Mugabe in Zimbabwe, we can talk of Mandela in South Africa, we talk about Adwoa in Kenya, just to mention a few. But his case is unique, and how unique it is because of his charisma and his also leadership style that he has. And I have a about 5 areas that I want to actually enumerate for us to serve as a basis of this conversation. Now, quite apart from his charisma, he has an uncommon leadership style, and then he also has a nationalistic approach, which I reflect in a unambiguous vision 2020 that he had actually pursued. He also has the high interest of pursuing national interests. And then, of course, finally, we also has to consider the social intervention policies that he has pursued over the period, which are very realistic. Now, if we talk about the issue of his charisma, we have to talk about how he managed to deal with the Rwanda's genocide and then the process of reconciliation. In fact, that gave him a plus. And not only just dealing with the reconciliation, but also managed to ensure sustainable development in Rwanda. And I consider this one to be an extraordinary approach that this particular man question has done. Now, in connection on with regard to an uncommon leadership style, this particular man had adopted an Africanist governance model. That's what I refer to. Even though he's a dictator, I mean, he has actually been able to blend what we call top-down democratic consensus. Even though he's a dictator, he manages to make sure that he brings all consensus on board. And he actually adapts a system which I refer to as the CCD approach, which is consultation, consensus building before decisions are making. So it means these issues are very critical as far as political considerations are concerned. Now, again, we might also take note of the fact that his model also sacrifices political competition for stable and predictability. Even though we may have agreed that it was a limited space in terms of politics, it's also a strategy that he has to adapt in order to make sure that it does not open the political space to the extent that it will just open the floodgate to create tensions within the Rwandan economy. We may have to make a reference to the fact that Rwanda had the past bitter experiences, and to him, the best word he should go is to ensure economic stability rather than political competition. So, a typical example what I had to say here is in that the Rwandans actually embraced most of Paul Kagame's actions, policies. The fact that even when the external observers in 2015 condemned his constitutional referendum as undemocratic, ironically, majority of Rwandans agreed that Rwanda should be Paul Kagame should be the best to govern Uganda. And of course, they endorsed the president as a permanent president. Of course, we may even say that president for life. And that is a very ironic. If I listen to the external comment and the critiques, relating it to the internal people that Rwanda themselves, I see some friction, some contradiction, because the Rwandans, they themselves are the ones to suffer. And what do they perceive for themselves is quite different from what those external people also perceive. So there's a kind of friction between what are the internal dynamics of the Rwandans as opposed to the external dynamics. So that is a bit about the issue of his the issue of about his uncommon leadership style. And a bit also about his unambiguous vision 2020. For here, the genocide in Rwanda, and I think let me just make a few quotations here, was both a dramatic and a foundational moment, to the extent that it created a before and after the RPF. Of course, we all recollect that Paul Kagame was the commander of the Rwandan Patriotic Front. And after he assumed office, there was a debate as to what has it got to offer after the genocide. Now, they assumed that building a new Rwanda for Paul Kagame was a man who has a serious plan in executing the new Rwanda business. And this reflects in his ambitions, which I have referred to as the Rwanda's Vision 2020 program. And here, that was launched in the year 2000. Now, the long-term development scheme not only met but also exceeded many of the declared benchmarks, including, for instance, the GDP growth, and of course, the income per capita life expectancy, infant mortality, gender inequality, and then, of course, in decision-making positions and public health. With regard to his nationalistic approach, which I call this, actually always attempt at prioritizing the national interest as over the pettiness. Over here, besides stabilization of the RPF regime, was able to manage and also unleash a process of structural economic transformation, with workers moving to higher activity, jobs, of course, since 2000. And the share of services in Rwandan GDP also increased, for instance, from 29% to 48%, while that of agriculture declined from 49 to 23%. Again, tourism, which now accounts for about 11% of his economic output, has also become an important driver of growth. The government has also invested significantly in and the vision, the Visit Rwanda brand. I think that is an innovative and a very wonderful innovation that Paul Kagame had also introduced, which are also attracting a number of foreigners there. Especially, this was established for the sake of partnership. And a typical example is a partnership that he managed to build with UK Premier Leagues, that is the Arsenal Football Club. This, of course, sectorial strategy relies on private sector initiative, using, of course, conservation programs to promote and attract foreign investment in Rwanda. In fact, he targeted towards ensuring luxury tourism through organization of strategic incentives, meetings, conferences, and of course exhibitions, just to ensure that that segment of the industry is also being promoted. Now, the fifth point that I raised, which is the realistic social intervention policies. Now here, the success of Rwanda's trajectory stories from a combination of factors that actually cannot be disassociated from Paul Kagame's government efficiency, which reflects the successful design, implementation, of course, and monitoring of a series of innovative homegrown development projects. A typical example that I may share with you, which also had made a significant contribution to actually rebuild the trust of Rwandans in Paul Kagame, is that he introduced a program which is called the Mutuelle de Santé. That's a French word, which is a subsidiary and a community-based health insurance scheme, which, of course, in Ghana here we may have to refer to as a national health insurance type. Then another one is the what refers to as the Grinka program. Of course, this is also poor program which provides the poor families in the rural areas with a cow. And then we have what they call the Ubundehe, and which is also based on traditional forms of mutual assistance at the local level and seeks to stimulate entrepreneurship. Of course, not all. Another important ingredient of Rwanda's also success story is relatively low levels of corruption. Of course, and given the background of Paul Kagame, it actually tells us that in reality, yes, the militaries always attempt at showing discipline, and this for me is not something that is surprising to us, that the country had managed to, cap down the level of corruption. And most of the military coup d'etats that some of the brave behind had been, one of them had been the fact that the country had been mismanaged and there's so high level of corruption. So if Paul's background is from a military juncture, then we expect that Paul should be able to ensure or instill discipline, and one of the way that he can exhibit is by reducing corruption. In fact, this is exemplified by the reason why Rwanda seems to be the recording was the least corrupt country in the East, according to the Corruption Perception Index 2023. I think these are some of the issues I think may have, in combination, added to the trust that the Rwandans had actually reposed in Paul Kagame. Of course, all of us should know that these 5 benchmarks or a standard that I mentioned are very developmental issues that seems to touch people. And of course, they also help us to not only ensure progress, but also improve the life of the people. So if you ask that question, I think these factors might have made a significant contribution to the success story of Paul Kagame.
The extensive explanation that you've given us. I think you've answered most of my questions, and so I'm not going to be delving into that. But before you go, I would want you to briefly tell me what you foresee as the potential long-term effects of Paul Kagame's extended rule on Rwanda's democracy, governance, and economic development.
Yeah, thank you, Naomi, for this. As I already indicated, this man has a very unique political style or model. And what I foresee is that given the contemporary experiences that we are witnessing, and given the fact that even though external observers and most of the external critics seems not to see Kagame to be a democratic aspirant or a person who inspired democracy, I think it still has to do with the Rwandans themselves to take their life into their own hands to determine the way they should go to enable them live peacefully in their country. So if you ask, going forward, I foresee that Kagame is actually charting a path would have become an entrenched, because I could see that given the background experience they had, they would have wished to be in a dictatorial regime where all what they are expecting are actually given to them, rather than open up to any political competition, which may take them back to their better experiences. So going forward, Kagame's podcast style, I think, had become one of the shining stars in our sub-region, of course. And I can also assure you that successive government may be compelled to, replicate whatever format or model that Kagame had actually laid down, particularly how it's ensuring peace and development among the Rwandan citizens. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Before you go, once again, can you tell me what you think other African leaders can learn from this election results?
Yeah, thank you, Naomi. Once again, yes, if you want me to tell you what African leaders will learn from that, I think they will have to now consider one, the landslide winning has a specific national, and I think I have enumerated some of them. And the for me, key ones will be that African politicians or presidents
to discuss. So thank you so much, Doc, for joining us to help us discuss the issues coming up in the Rwanda's presidential elections, which was held last week. We have been speaking with Dr. Collins Edu Bempa Brobe of the University of Media, Arts and Communications in Ghana here. We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll delve into our news portal review. Don't go anywhere.
The CGC Show is back on your screens. This season on the CGC Show, bring you nothing short of interesting and, of course, educative interviews. We are going to delve into the areas of technical and vocational education and training, TVET. We will get interactive with our professional and well-experienced guests to educate us on how to attain the career path you have been dreaming of in TVET. On the show, we focus mainly on highlighting career opportunities and job prospects available in the program you are studying or yet to read at the tertiary level. Better yet, we help you understand that whatever venture you are in can contribute to the economic development of our beautiful continent. Join me, Mr. Ako, on the CGC Show on AAU TV as I engage experts and professionals to help build and nurture your career. The CGC Show, your trusted pathway to your dreams.
Hello Africa, keep watching AAU TV.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
Right, thank you for sticking with us and welcome back to the Hello Africa Morning Show. First on the news portal review, moving to Palestine, students, academic and non-academic communities in Morocco are condemning the action of the Dean of Hassan II University's Faculty of Science in Casablanca, who refused to award an Excellence Prize to Khadija Ator, a high-achieving female student wearing a Palestinian keffiyeh. The keffiyeh, a symbol of solidarity with the Palestinian cause, was deemed inappropriate for the ceremony by the dean, Mohammed Talbi, who tried to persuade the students to remove it. The incident, captured on video, sparked outrage on social media, with widespread condemnation from various university communities and human rights organizations. Naomi, this from Morocco. I think it's part of the re-wanting the Palestinian and then the Israeli war to end. And according to the story, an outstanding student, female student, was, I don't know how to say, but kind of neglected her award, not entirely, but then the person appointed to give the award to walked out of the stage because she was in the kefir. Yeah, kefir.
I don't know what to make of this story because everybody knows that she's a high-performing student, and now they are outraged. Sometimes we need to, yes, in some instances we may want to use our own discretion, but it doesn't always work. Yeah, it doesn't always work. If the person deserves it, you can just give the award to the person, and maybe later try and find out why the person wore that. Of course, we know that probably the person did it in solidarity to the Palestinians fighting against the Israelis. Yeah. You should just do. I think that the award should have just been given to her.
Actually, she had the award. The award was given to her. No. The director came in and handed the award, but whoever was, graduation time, they'll call the dean to come and hand the best student. Then next is maybe a sponsor to come and hand. So he came in, and then when he saw the kefeye, asked the student to take it off. When the student refused to, he walked out. So to, cut the embarrassment and the shame and everything, the director had to come in and then hand over the award to the lady.
I am talking specifically about the dean not awarding, giving the award to the high-performing lady. I mean, she needs to take the award home, despite whether or not you are in support of what she was wearing, what she was doing at that very moment. She was to take the award home, and you, as the dean, were to present the award to the lady. I don't think it is appropriate that just because somebody is wearing a specific attire that you think, or in your opinion, it's not fit for the occasion, or it's not supposed to be there at that very moment, you are not going to give the award to the person. And especially because I am saying, especially knowing that the person is a female. Yes.
Hey, you and
because I am not sure, even though it didn't happen that way, I'm not sure he would have said
no to a male. Are you sure?
No to a male. Because then it could actually trigger some form of rage. It could trigger some form of rage from the students.
It could.
Yes. But because, women, sometimes we are like, calm, we don't want to react immediately. I'm wondering how the lady felt about this. Because you are the dean. You are the dean of Faculty of Science. Everyone knows I am a high-performing female student of your university, of the faculty. I deserve this award. Wouldn't it would be so prestigious to have the dean hand over the award to you? And so if you as the dean, you cannot always ensure that there's that inclusivity, there's no bias in terms of gender, I think it is a problem. And it shouldn't just be about condemning his action. Maybe other measures should be taken, probably giving him a suspension or something, because we do not know how it's going to affect the student in the end, because the student who can feel that maybe the man thought she wasn't deserving of the award, or just because she's so supporting the Palestinians in the war against Israeli, he also supports the Israeli. So many things could be triggered based off of this. So I think some situations could be avoided, and we should always ensure that things like this, especially pertaining to gender, do not happen.
I agree with you at some part of with what you're saying, some part of it, but then I don't know if you saw my facial expression myself. I was laughing at myself. So when we look at this situation, before we conclude, we need to look at both sides. I won't conclude and say, fine, maybe the dean reacted or took the situation too personal. At the moment, I think he could have handed the award to the students, like you are saying. That's the part I agree with you. And then afterwards, maybe make a statement.
Exactly.
Address the students that he initially had issues with the lady wearing the kefeye because of this and this and that. So next time, yes, we want to show people our stance when it comes to the war and all that, but we can use other platforms. But this is an occasion where we have to respect the outlines, everything put in place, and then make it successful rather than coming to demonstrate and showing other, stance. But hold on. When it comes to graduation, you are given a uniform.
Yes.
Hold on. I understand the dean's part, but that, like I'm saying, he maybe took it too personal. When it comes to graduation, like I was saying, we have a uniform to wear, and we even go. We go a day, sometimes days before. Yes, for rehearsal, where you walk, how you are going to greet, and how you even take so that they can capture you, and even how to wear the gown. There's a way you have to wear the gown. If even some in Ghana here, I see they wear what's the name? I've forgotten the name. The one we put on top of the gown.
Yeah.
I forgot. In some part of in some part of the world, you don't put on that upper part, the cover up. You go for whoever is handing the award to you to put the cover up on you before you are taking you are giving the award. There's a particular way you have to dress. Sometimes, if you don't dress to suit that professional way, you are not giving your award. I'm telling you, some people do it. They'll even not let you in the auditorium.
Okay.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
So I think he initially had an issue with the keffiyeh because it's not part of the gown. It's not part of the uniform. It's not prescribed. You are walking on the stage. You have to be dressed appropriately. And then and besides, you are even the best student or the award you deserve it. So you should be a role model, do the right thing. And then when you are done taking you go on and put on your keffiyeh. I mean, people are seeing you. Surely a camera will capture you showcasing your, or even after taking your award, you can make a statement just like I suggested. The dean can do. Do you get me?
There should have been that exhibit of emotional intelligence at that point.
Okay.
Yes, in as much as, because there's been criticism from the Moroccan Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research. It should tell you that at that very moment, it was inappropriate basically
for him. So I think they have issue because he walked out of stage and didn't hand the award.
So that is why I'm saying there should have been some form of exhibition of emotional intelligence because you've been called upon to present the award. You could have presented the award and later called the student, or like you're saying, use in your speech you could say that this is not the appropriate platform to do so and so and so, because you whatever your action is, you do not know how it's going to affect the other person at the other end. So we need to also look at these things. Yes, you think that it is inappropriate. I mean, people are showing solidarity to the Palestinians in this war on social media, everywhere, even during campaigns, football matches, and all of that. So, yes, we've been given some uniform, like you said, but probably she thought to also leverage the platform to also say that imagine somebody from Palestine winning this award. You get it, and who knows? It could be that she has some people families or relatives from Palestine. That is why she decided to do that. So sometimes we should just allow for the freedom of expression, because there's also one of the points that you could actually note from the story, that there was the allegations of suppression of freedom of expression. So sometimes at that very particular moment, like you may have your own issues about whatever costume that somebody is wearing, but at the end of the day, you should also know that there are people around, and the action you take at that very moment can affect not just the person you are acting on, but the other people even at the other side.
I get you. I mean, this has even happened before. I think during the Ukraine and Russia, a journalist used her platform to, to make a stance on the world. So probably the student thought that was the appropriate platform to
maybe
showcase her stand. Yeah.
Okay. Away from that story, the World Bank funded African Higher Education Centers of Excellence ACE program has initiated a collaboration with the European Centers of Excellence ECE to commercialize research-based knowledge, products and services. The collaboration aims to foster research to market outcomes, engage private sector support, and create peer learning opportunities in key research areas. The initiative was discussed at the African Centers of Excellence International Partnership Workshop in May 2024, building on the July 2023 AU-EU Innovation Agenda. Isabella,
yes, dear.
What do you think is in it for Africans in this partnership, especially in relation to the ACE centers?
So looking at it, I mean, it's trying to contribute to the AU-EU Innovation Agenda, and we are going to benefit. It's just like the SEAT project, but we are looking at the research and innovators, and this only focuses on researchers. And when you look at the aim or the main goal of it is to foster research to market, which is one of the, I don't know, it's the most important aspect we have to look at, because currently we're comparing the number of research that are out there. Most of them are piled in the shelves and all that. Students are coming out with
brilliant
research and all that, but it ends up in the so if we are to find a way where this research will come to the market, I think we are really going to benefit, and there we are going to see the development that we need. And I can see there's going to be there a whole lot of activities because we need to build our capacity. As part of the interviews we conducted during the SEAT project, and they said that sometimes we shouldn't blame the institution, or we shouldn't blame the student not bringing or publishing or letting people see the research, because the research they are doing does not meet the needs out there. It doesn't meet the market needs. So they go pick a topic, just change it, and then say I'm doing a research just for the marks or just to complete school. But then with this project, I'm sure there's going to be some capacity building, training students, researchers, even faculty members, how to come up with a very good research topic that is really going to go out there, that's going to seek to find the solutions out there. That is when you are done, you see the market will be there for you. Do you get me? The market is, but when a student is not really well equipped and she just picks a topic and just for marks and all that, then we are doing ourselves.
And we can also talk briefly about some of the impacts and achievements of the ACE project, because it has enrolled over 29,000 postgraduate students and also published 3,000 high-impact journal papers. There was also some significant funding raised, with over 79 million of it from other research works and contributions to scientific research and higher education in sub-Saharan Africa. So there is also the call for increased investments from development partners, industry and government to support the ACE model.
It's
because
very important.
We are seeing the impact of it since it started in 2016, and obviously it means that the ACE is making some form of impact. It actually started in 2014 because there will be 10 years this year, so 2014,
And I just saw that it seeks to address some of the challenges we are already facing. Funding is the first one that pops out. It's true. I was really surprised to find out that even some of the public institutions do not get funds for their research. They only rely on external donors, and even sometimes they use their own money to do the research. And when the government sees that, oh, it's impactful and that is when they come in to support your initiative. So thanks to the ACE, if they're going to give fundings to researchers, it's a kudos to them. And also with the infrastructure deficit, it is. But I think the ACE have done really well. When they came, when the project was introduced, you can see quite a number of centers they've built, which is,
I was just about touching on that.
And they are not just centers or not building, they are really equipped. It has the standard laboratory tools. So when you go there, I mean, you can learn everything. You come out as a professional. You come out as very capacitated to do your work.
And looking at the future direction of this partnership, they are trying to align it with the AU-EU innovation agenda priorities, including the establishment of AU-EU centers of excellence. So it's going to be, it's not just going to be A centers. It's not going to be EC centers. They are going to be AU-EU centers of excellence, and it will also boost research infrastructure. And they will also try to strengthen research and innovation cooperation to transform innovative capacities into tangible outputs like products, services, and even jobs. So I think this is a very commendable initiative by the ACE Impact, partnering with the European centers of excellence to ensure that this AU-EU innovation agenda comes to a realization. And we wish them all the best, hoping that other people from other continents even come on board to support the ACE project.
Exactly. And still on funding researchers in Africa, the Kenya's National Research Fund has launched a new 5-year strategic plan to enhance research funding, infrastructure, and collaboration among institutions. Now, this initiative aligns with Kenya's Vision 2030 and the government's bottom-up economic and transformation agenda, that's BETA. The plan aims to tackle the nation's challenges through industrialization, focusing on science, technology, and innovation. It promises increased funding and better infrastructure for universities and research centers, reducing their reliance on external sources and facilitating timely project completion. Now, looking at the strategic plan goals, this new 5-year strategic plan aims to boost research funding, improve infrastructure, and also foster collaboration among Kenyan institutions. And it's aligned with the Kenyan Vision 2030 and also the BET agenda. Now, I mean, still on funding research,
so
and this is
their own strategy to boost
their own. It's a national agenda, and I like it. I mean, it's about time. It's fine, we have the collaborative ones, we have the sustainable development goals looking at all that, but we as a country or as an individual country, we need to come out with an agenda. How are we going to develop ourselves? What is the vision for this country? And I like what Kenya is doing, focusing on research, you know, the bottom of all, to start developing, you need to make sure that your research infrastructure is strong enough to, I mean, find solutions for your gaps and all that. So I really appreciate what they are doing, and I'm hoping other countries would also look at it and do the same thing. And this is really going to boost the economic development.
And it also seeks to reduce over-reliance on external funding and prevent project delays, because sometimes we are looking at getting funding from outside of the continent, and then until the funding comes, we have identified a problem, but until the funding comes in, the problem is going to be existent. It's going to be stuck somewhere waiting for the money to come in from outside before it is being implemented. It will definitely stall the developments that we want to see in Africa, especially. So
and also they are encouraging women researchers and also fostering collaboration across various disciplines to bring innovation ideas. And I saw that they highlighted a very outstanding project by Dr. Jacqueline Kisato, whose eco-friendly sanitary towels was highlighted in the news. And I think it's a way, it's kind of a strategy to encourage women to also apply for these funds. I wish I was there. I'll quickly look for a gap or something and come up, get the money, because it's nice when your research is out there, when people can see what you are doing. It's showcase how intelligent you are and how committed you are to developing your country. So I think it's a very good thing, and kudos to Kenya.
Yeah. Now, UNESCO's China Funds in Trust Phase 3 project supports 12 higher education institutions in 6 African countries to review curricula and engage nearly 500 industry partners. The initiative aims to align education with labor market needs, particularly in STEM fields. Despite delays due to COVID-19 and other challenges, the project has been extended to December 2025. It focuses on enhancing teaching, fostering gender equality, and supporting technological advancements. Isabella, what do you make of this story? Just to give you some context, the CFIT involves curriculum reviews in 12 institutions across 6 countries, namely Cote d'Ivoire, Ethiopia, Gabon, Senegal, Tanzania, and Uganda. And nearly 500 industry partners are engaged to ensure that the curricula align with labor market needs.
Yeah. So it's still on market needs, trying to align our research, our schools, structures, and everything we learn should ensure that when the student is out there, he can identify something in the market or even be employed and all that. So it's still fighting to meet the needs of the market.
And I think
and like I like, you know, curriculum review, that is where it should start from, because looking at most of our curriculum, they rely on the external. We pick what the Europeans and then other people are doing, and then just we don't even contextualize. We just teach. You know, being in class, when a teacher is citing an example, the teacher is not going to use what is happening in Africa, rather cite something happening out there, because that is what the curricula is. But if we review it and ensure that we contextualize everything meets our needs, then it's a good thing. That is where it starts from. When you are coming out, you know you're going to be employed because you understand what the continent or your country is going through, and you are well equipped, or you have the capacity, you have the knowledge to work towards achieving the goals of the Agenda 2060.
And talking about the impacts and achievements of the projects, it has trained about 800 educational staff and provided STEM skills development opportunities to 1,500 graduates, and about 13,000 youths have benefited from capacity development workshops, entrepreneurship challenges, and career guidance. I remember when I was in Uganda, I think I've mentioned this before, that my tour guide was mentioned that during, like years ago, students will graduate from the universities and will not be able to fit into the job market. But now Makerere is doing that, and we are even seeing the results in the Times Higher Education, seeing them featured, talking about their research and the innovations that are happening in their institutions. So I think that I can attest to the fact that Uganda has really benefited from this project, ensuring that the graduates that come out of these institutions in Uganda are able to be employed, and also supports the labor force in Uganda. And I like the fact that the course or the program focuses on technological advancements. We all know that artificial intelligence is now the trend. We see the digital advancements are all across. And the example here is Ethiopia's Technical and Vocational Training Institute developing a curriculum framework including AI. I think Academic City University College is one of the institutions that is also doing extremely well in terms of AI. Most of their programs have that digital aspect or IT aspect as a component of whatever program that they run. So it is something that they are also doing well. And it also responds to gender. It aims to address gender disparities in STEM education and promotes women's leadership in higher education. I am wondering how they are actually doing this. Are they giving them some form of scholarship, or they are giving them the leeway to apply to schools and grant them admission?
It can
give them
be.
the
It can be
opportunities?
both, because all applies to encouraging women to participate in the STEM field. So, no matter however or whichever strategy you have to use to get these women there, you have to use it. So it can cut across all the strategies you made mention.
I would love to learn more about this project. So maybe as and when I do, I'll bring you more information about that.
Yes, and still on education, the Sia Phumelela Network, celebrating its 10th anniversary, has made notable progress in improving access and success rates in South African higher education, with recent grants of over 114 million South African rand from the Gretzky Foundation. The network aims to further enhance student success. The annual Sia Phumelela Conference in Johannesburg highlighted achievements, ongoing challenges, and the crucial role of leadership in driving change. Now, looking at the expansion and the funding boost, Sia Phumelela now includes 20 out of 26 public universities in South Africa, and they have received significant funding from the Gretzky Foundation for the next 3 years. And also, when we, in terms of access to education, there's been a shift in the demographic sector, where the progress has been made in improving access to higher education, with student demographics now reflecting national demographics. Yeah,
I think it's a very commendable initiative.
It
actually is. We've talked about research funding, and so if we are seeing this amount of grants coming in for South African universities, I think it's a very good initiative.
Yes, and institutions are being encouraged to use their database and getting to know, okay, the number of students that are enrolled and what we can do to ensure that more, or we attract more people to get access to education. And I saw the story it showcased some database from 1996 when the South Africa received or got after the apartheid, and from there you could see that majority of the white people were being enrolled, and then it started shifting to the black people, to the Africans being enrolled in school. So it's good we understand our data when we get to know that, okay, we are having quite a limited number of people being enrolled in school. What can we do to encourage them to come to school? Because this is access and then the success of education.
Yes, but despite the progress made, it also highlighted that there's high dropout rates and disparities in the success rates. Because if we are now giving opportunities for people to be enrolled in the universities, how are we still accounting for high dropout rates? Is it that the curricula is too extensive for them? What exactly is accounting for?
Probably funding. You know, you enroll to school, and how are you going to fund? Yes, how are you going to sustain yourself and make sure that you complete? I think the other time we looked at a model that discusses the factors that ensure or that leads to students being dropped out from school. So funding can be one, and also the racism and all that are all, and probably the language, like you mentioned, the curricula, the language being used. Because if I'm a school dropout, probably I stayed home for a whole 3 years, and now I'm being encouraged to go to school. Probably my speaking, the English is not going to be fluent, and see my colleagues speaking fluently and all that, I'll be discouraged and probably drop out from school. So I think that is one of the factors, and also funding, like I mentioned.
Well, generative artificial intelligence, AI, has emerged as a significant tool for creating job opportunities for tertiary educated youth in Africa. However, challenges persist, including outdated curricula, data quality issues, and exploitative working conditions. A recent position paper by AUDA NEPAD, in collaboration with the University of Oxford, Microsoft, and the Center for the Future of Work, outlines the potential and problems associated with AI in Africa. So the generative AI is used to create new contexts like text, images, and music, and it has the potential to drive job creation for Africa's youth. But many AI courses at African universities have outdated curricula, leaving graduates unprepared for the digital job market.
Yeah.
What do you think is accounting for this?
Well, it's a new it's a new strategy. Oh no, not strategy, but it's a new form of a new form of, or a new course or a new program, and we have to be very prepared for it. The teachers have to be skilled enough to train students, and we are not there yet. Yes, we are not there yet. Just like the story saying, our curriculum is outdated. We have to review it and make, just like COVID-19, when we're switching to online digital education, and majority were finding it difficult. Yes, I think our curriculum, we have to ensure that it is modernized enough to, build the capacity of students to use this
and
AI.
I think it addresses your issue of, or the issue of contextualizing our curriculum, because we all know that artificial intelligence came from outside of our continent all through, and then it's here now. But how are we also trying, how are we making sure that the artificial intelligence courses that we are running in our various higher education institutions are contextualized? So if somebody from outside, outside the continent comes to Africa and is going through our curricula for AI courses in our universities, the person might think that, oh, we've already seen this happening in the outside of Africa. So how are we? So that is how they would come up with the notion that is outdated. And so we need to strategize and be able to develop our own curricula that will respond to the issues that we are facing in Africa.
And also talking about reviewing and also ensuring that the outdated curricula is modernized. We have, if you look at our curriculum, they are too theoretical, too book long reading
the
and
paper,
all that.
The paper highlighted that.
You reading, you end up coming to the field, and you can't even use the equipment or things. You've heard of it in your textbooks and all that, but how to practically use it is it's an issue. So if we want to review or make sure that generative artificial intelligence is included in our curriculum, we need to make it practical. When the student is coming out, he can use his creativity to develop something else. Do you get it? It should be more practical than, I don't want to mention schools, but when I went to school, but it's all practicals, and AI or technology, it's all theoretical, but AI and technology should be more
practical than theoretical.
Exactly.
And some of the challenges highlighted is data access and cost, saying that the access to AI tools is hampered by high costs for mobile data in many African countries. I mean, now even in Ghana, almost everyone keeps talking about how expensive data is. The Sub-Saharan African has some of the highest data costs globally. And the lack of computer skills in school curricula and high informal sector employment rates further restricts AI adoption and the benefits. Of course, if you do not know the benefits of AI, it will be hard for you to adopt to it. So I think there should be some form of education and sensitization about the benefits of AI.
Yes, and then the government also have a role to play in terms of policy documents. Can you imagine in Ghana here, we do not have AI policy? I mean, it's drafted, but not implemented. Yes, so it's about time. We have to.
There's a lot of way to be done.
Even some of our science and technology policy are outdated. The ICT for D policy, for instance, since 1900, it's still it's still as it is, and unless the messy policy documents that we are using, there is no AI policy document here in Ghana. It's drafted and still there, are waiting to be implemented. So we have to set up, because it's there. AI has come to stay. Nothing, and it's not going to change. We have to get some policy guidelines whereby when the institutions are going to adapt or adopt it, there's something guiding them.
We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll delve into the world of entertainment and sports. Don't go anywhere.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAU TV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAU TV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAU TV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAU TV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
This program is proudly sponsored by Vena Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
You're welcome to the entertainment segment, and moving all the way to Mali. Mali has lost a cultural icon with the passing of Toumani Diabaté, the celebrated king of Kora. Diabaté, a master of the traditional West African stringed instrument, passed away at the age of 58 after a brief illness. Born in 1965 into the griot family, Diabaté was deeply intertwined with Mali's rich musical and oral traditions. Now known for his exceptional skills and innovative approach to the kora, he was instrumental in blending traditional Malian music with contemporary influences. His contributions extended beyond Mali, earning him international acclaim and respect. Now, Diabaté's work was pivotal in bridging the gap between ancestral traditions and modern music. His innovative style and mastery of the kora helped to elevate the instrument's profile on the global stage, bringing West African music to a broader audience. His passing has elicited heartfelt tribute from fellow musicians and admirers, underscoring his profound impact on the music world. Yeah. So Naomi, we've lost a great legend, Diabaté, the king of kora.
So rest in perfect peace, and sincere condolences to the family.
Yeah. Now, when you see the kora instrument, what comes in mind?
I don't know much about kora, but I know about Mali's king of kora, Toumani. So I'm seeing that he's passed away. I'm just hoping that he's taught some people, or we have new acts coming up to not necessarily replace him, but also still give us what he was giving us, because he's a legend, of course. So I'm hoping that people learned from him. A lot of the young ones learned from him, and will be able to do even more, so that we do not miss him so much. Of course, we are going to miss him, but we are just hoping that he, some people learned from him, or they were able to see how he played the instrument and how.
Yeah, you know, to me, I prefer musics that are done with the traditional instruments compared to the modern, the apps where you sit, combine the bars, the claps, and everything. It gives you some uniqueness. You know, when you listen, Kina Isoba, there are different types of the kora. Kina Isoba uses it, and other musicians use this instrument, and it gives this. You know, it's like it's speaking to your spirit. You are calm listening to, enjoying our cultural, you know, what we have. And I prefer this type of, when you listen to most of our, I once asked my mom how high life the old ones were done and all that, and to my surprise, and these beats are created like traditionally. It's not no beat from any app or any
and
nothing.
That is why you could sense the originality.
Exactly.
in the act, even the musicians, the way they were performing, the sound that comes from their voice, you could tell that this is indigenous African high life. Unlike the modern one that, yes, it's high life, but you still see that there's some bits of modernization, there's some bits of technological tweaking. Technological tweaking. So I mean, we really need to teach the young ones how to play our African instruments. To
the
be able
flutes,
to,
the drums, the gongo, everything. Do you know I know how to play dundu?
Oh,
yes,
okay.
I do. I know how, and I learned it from my mom. My mom knows how to play the konka and all that. You know, we need to teach our children how to use these instruments.
Well, away from that story, Dr. Fola David, a Nigerian visual artist and medical doctor, has made history by breaking the Guinness World Record for the largest drawing by an individual. David achieved this feat at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena in Lagos, surpassing the previous record of 629.98 square meters. Now, to give you a background, David embarked on this ambitious project with the goal of creating a drawing spanning over 1,000 square meters. His record-breaking achievements were celebrated by many, including prominent Nigerians such as Peter Obi, the president of Nigeria, the 2023 presidential. Peter Obi is the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, and he also commended David for showcasing Nigeria's great creative talent on a global stage. Now, David's drawing, titled Unity in Diversity, aims to highlight Nigeria's rich cultural heritage. The artwork features a detailed map of Nigeria, representing its diverse tribes through the unique attire, languages, and arts. The project began on July 16 and continued through July 21, 2024, with David covering over 850 square meters of canvas during this period. Now, David's achievement has garnered widespread support and recognition. Senior Special Assistants to Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu visited David to offer their encouragement. Peter Obi also expressed his admiration for David's dedication and contribution to celebrating Nigeria's youthful creativity and talent. Now, one thing I like about this so much is the fact that he's a medical doctor. And I love
using his talent.
Yes, I love that we are seeing these white-collar job professionals doing other things. There's this lady that I follow on Instagram. I never knew that she was a medical doctor. Apparently, she's practicing the medicine in the hospital and also a social media influencer. Exactly. So imagine somebody with such large following deciding to embark on a project, say maybe doing some form of education on health issues. It will definitely have the influence because the person has the following, the person has the numbers. Looking at a medical doctor using some few days to achieve this feat for Nigeria, what do you make of this story?
Well, I'm impressed because that is how I am as well. Aside doing my journalism work, I also have the creativity. I do things with my hands. I draw, I crochet, I do beadings and all that. And it shows that we can use our talent aside the professional work we are doing. We can also showcase our talent in so many ways. Any money from there. And when I saw it, trust me, I was really impressed, and I was even convincing myself to beat him and then get the Guinness World Record. But no, I'm not doing that yet. But then kudos to him. And looking at the art, I love it. Just like the story says, it has this diversity. I saw people adorning the religious attire. I saw the mask, the African mask, and a whole lot of Africanism in there. And
there was a drawing of someone playing the African drum.
And even I saw, I think, the gongo too there as well. And with all under the hand, like unity, the unity hand, meaning
unity in diversity.
No matter who you are, where you find yourself in Africa, when you identify your another fellow African, we are one. Here, I'm preaching like Kwame Nkrumah. No matter where you are, so far as you are an African, we are one. there's no Muslim, there's no Christian, there's no Northerner, there's no Gan, there's no Krobo and all that. No, we are all one. And I really, this goes to the whole world, Guinness World Record. Everybody is going to see this. And he has a statement. He's making a statement out there, and it's going out. Everybody is seeing it. So Africa, the African Union, right? We need to come as one. Yes. You know, come together. Yeah.
Now, away from entertainment and into sports, a major scandal has erupted as 9 individuals from a group posing as Ghana's Paralympic team are on the run after failing to register for the Jovkraft Beijing City Marathon in Oslo. The team, who obtained visas under false pretenses, faced immediate trouble when one member was arrested for attempting to flee to Sweden, and the coach died after collapsing in a hospital. The remaining members are still at large, prompting international alerts and potential repercussions for future Ghanaian sports visas. Now, the Ghana Paralympic team committee has denied involvement, claiming their letter was forged by individuals who have now been suspended. The incident could negatively impact Ghana's future international sports engagements. Authorities, including the Norwegian Embassy and Ghana's National Security, are addressing the situation, with further investigations underway to uncover the full extent of the fraud. Isabella,
it's sad.
How is it possible that
a whole
I don't know, I don't want to blame the embassy, because they did their job. And definitely there has to be a letter sent to the embassy to issue the visas to them. So, and this person's signature, this person whose signature was featured on the letter is saying that he knew nothing about this issue.
Well, I am not blaming entirely the embassy, but then they need to get their checks done, because then if that is, then I can go to US, I can go to Germany, I can go to wherever country if I forge someone's signature. You know, you need to get the checks done. We have contact details of the person who signed it. I know they do that a lot. They call to confirm or send an email to confirm whether this letter was there and issued by them or not. And at that moment, if that was done, I'm sure they could have apprehended the people before flying to the country. And they didn't do that. Unfortunately, the whole embassy, Norwegian embassy, they didn't do that. And then the people had to get there. One was even trying to go to another place before they were able. And it's sad, because it looks like everybody is trying to find ways and means to move from the country. We are tired. We want to go get out from here and go find another jobs or money somewhere to do, and everybody is finding people are killing others, frauding and all that, just to get access to move from the country. And it's sad. This should speak to our government. We have to do something, especially the youth. Now they are taking advantage of the vulnerable opportunity that is given to the vulnerable people. That you are taking advantage of it just to move from the country. And here I'm hearing that it's going to impact on future competition, where Ghanaians will be strictly, I don't know, we are going to look at you with triple eyes before you get access to go.
That's why I'm saying that sometimes you may have a specific action to take, but you need to also think about how it affects other people in the long run. Because sad. Now people are going to go through a lot of scrutiny before they are issued visas. And there was a quote from Sansin Jean, who is the African Paralympic Committee president, saying that the team in Norway is a fake Ghana para team. So they are actually not the Paralympic team in Norway. And the names being mentioned as leaders are past executives of the committee.
Don't do that.
There are about 5 different teams calling themselves Ghana Para Team, despite not recognized by government.
No, First of all, we had another Guinness Book of Record, the chef, doing the same thing, and now a competition.
I'm not happy about
it. It's quite sad.
He
really
also
sad.
mentioned that having worked as a member of the local organizing committee for the first African Para Games in Accra, he got an insight into the stag divisions and under dealings by especially some former executives of the Paralympic Committee. And when the original Ghana amputee team football was preparing for the just ended amputee AFCON in Egypt, there was also another team training for that same tournament. So I think that the Ghana Football Association has a lot of work to do, because then if other people, different groups are posing as we are, let's say, Ghana Black Stars, we are so, how do we ensure that immediately? Are they telling me that they do not work closely with journalists who are always doing undercover investigations to ensure that people do not take advantage? Yes, people do not take advantage of, say, games being played outside of Ghana or even our region, our African region, to take the opportunity to just travel, like what has happened now?
Well, when it comes to that, I mean, everybody can do what they have to do. Here, I'm not going to blame the committee or the team, no, but the embassy, I mean, because that is where they got the access. Do you get me? I can pose. You don't know people who are crazy. Sorry to say, but I can pose myself as maybe director of communication, Madame Nudumo, and go somewhere using her signature. I can do that, but then it's up to you, the institution bringing the letter to you, to do your check and ensure that what I'm doing, what I'm bringing is reliable. It is the genuine letter. It is what it is. Do you get me? People are faking things. I mean, frauding. I think last time we talked about identity scam and all that. Yes, people are doing that a lot. But we have to set up and ensure that whoever brings a letter to you or comes with an identity, we have to do the checks and ensure it's done. So I don't really blame the committee, because they are there. They have their team. They know who they are. And people are taking advantage. We'll be going for the World Cup, right? And you imagine the number of people who will come out and say that they are supporters, because we have some opportunity. There's some opportunity for supporters to go and support the Black Stars or the team going for the World Cup or AFCON. You will see the number of people who will claim they are part of the supporters just because they want to travel. And here it's USO. Myself, I'll be joining. Now, still on sports, Biniam Germaya, known as the African King of Cycling, has made headlines as the first black African to win multiple stages in the Tour de France. At just 24 years old, Germaya has captivated the cycling world with his impressive performance and has a strong chance of clinching the green jersey for the best sprinter. Now, a background about Germaya. Hailing from Eritrea, Germaya has overcome numerous challenges in his journey to cycling stardom. Despite cultural shocks, visa issues, and homesickness, he has risen to prominence in a sport traditionally dominated by Europeans. Now, his success has sparked hope for greater diversity in cycling and has brought attention to Eritrea's rich cycling heritage. Looking at his achievements, Germaya has won 3 stages in this year's Tour de France, showcasing his sprinting prowess. Now, he is the only black rider in this year's peloton of 176 riders. Other achievements include being the first African to win a one-day classic race at Gent-Wevelgem, and achieved a stage victory at the Giro d'Italia. Yes.
And he's actually preparing for the Olympics in Paris.
Yes, he is.
And the World Championship in Rwanda.
Yeah.
I'm actually very inspired because I know how to ride a bicycle a bit. I'm not very perfect.
No, but there's difference between cycling and riding a bicycle. No, there's a difference.
What's the difference?
No, looking at the tool alone, the bicycle, the types, the one you use, I know, has a big tie, but this. It's very thin. Sometimes I wonder how.
It's a gradual process.
Okay.
So if I know how to maneuver
Control
the
the
steers,
steer.
control the steers and all of that. I know how to balance on the bike.
The big tie.
One day.
This one, you're sitting on a very small
one day.
tie.
I'll show you. I'll be representing
I can't
Ghana
wait.
very soon.
I can't wait. I really can't wait.
But we wish him all the best in the in the subsequent games, and we pray and hope that he wins all throughout to make or to put Africa on the map.
Yeah. And that is all for today's episode on the Hello Africa Morning Show. Thank you very much for sticking with us. And note that this program is proudly sponsored by Vena Purified Water and Biko Drinks. My name is Isabella Teta Hinakwa, and I've been here with my co-host.
Now, just before we wrap up, just yesterday, Joe Biden, the president of the United States, and the initial person to run for the Democrats has stepped down and is actually endorsing his vice president Kamala Harris to run for the presidency.
Which I am happy.
I am also very happy, and I don't know,
Women
we'll bring you more details about this issue or this development in the American politics next week. But I don't know what to make about it. I don't know how. Definitely there will be some
we'll bring more stories.
Some dynamics to the political landscape
more stories
in America. So we'll bring you more details next week. Do ensure that you join us, and don't forget that you can follow the discussion via our social media platforms at Association of African Universities on Facebook and YouTube, AUTV Official on Instagram, and AUTV_universities on X. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great week.
Hello Africa. Keep watching AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.